Hello, beloved ones. How wonderful that you are here with me today. I want you to just take a nice deep breath with me and let it out. And again. And let it out. And one more. That is a very, very simple way to relieve stress, to relieve tension in the body, and to bring you to the present moment. When you feel that you are all over the place, or things are getting very tense in the situation you're in, or within your own body, always stop to breathe. Big, deep breaths. And as you breathe in, you can just feel the tension in your body. It's almost like a scan. Right? With the breath, you draw it and you can start to feel, where am I holding things? What's happening energetically? And then you release it. It is an active way to check in with the body, to relieve that stress so that you can feel better in the moment. Now, it's not a long-term fix, of course, but sometimes in the short term, it's easy to forget that something so simple as taking 3 deep breaths can change your perspective on what's happening in the moment. It can give you just that little shift that you need in order to say, I need to pause here, I need to do things differently here, or what's happening is overwhelming, so I need to step out, step away, have a longer pause to tell the people involved that I'll come back or I'll jump back in a few minutes or 24 hours. But it's that short pause of 3 deep breaths that can change so much in that moment. And if you remember, that moment, this moment, is all you have. So remember the simple things. So what I want to talk about today, beloved ones, is perfection. Right? So this is something that many people struggle with. It is one of those energies that becomes active in childhood. Now, control and perfectionism go hand in hand. They are generally, when you find one, you will find the other. Because in order to achieve perfection, you must control the situation. That's what the mind tells you, that's what the energy tells you. That your own version of perfection may not be other people's version of perfection. So in order to achieve that, you have to control them. You have to control the situation. You have to control the outcome. So many things must be controlled in order for perfectionism to flourish, right? But therein lies the problem. One cannot control any of those things. You cannot control other people. You can manipulate them to a certain extent, but that is not sustainable. and it always ends up souring the relationship. So you can manipulate, that's a choice, but you cannot control them. You can't control the situation as a whole, and you most definitely cannot control the outcome of situations, right? So what you're left with is this drive for perfection that can never be achieved. And that's why you set it up in the first place, right? It's that continual state of being disappointed or being let down, or not feeling that you are achieving, you're fulfilling your own image of achievement. And that always creates that feeling of disappointment. Where this begins, and it can begin in many different ways from outside sources, but where it begins in childhood, it is that need for things to be just so, for you to feel safe. Now that version of just so is different for everyone. So your version of perfection will not be someone else's version of perfection. But perfection is a kind of safety, like armor, right? If I can do this 100% every day, then I'll be okay. If I can achieve this shining vision of perfection in my business, in my career, with my children, then I'll be okay. It is one of the many ways that you as a human being, all of you as human beings, you try to feel safe, you try to feel secure. For many people, perfectionism is a form of security. But because it was formed when you were a child, it is a childish, not childlike, right? Childish version of safety and security. Because a child does not understand all the adult responsibilities or what goes into fulfilling those responsibilities. They see things in a much more limited view. So for a child, perfection can be achieved. It seems to them that it can be achieved, right? But the adult knows that it is not possible. But if you are still operating from a childish version of safety and security, then perfectionism may be one of those things that's always running in the background that you might not even be aware of. And you wonder why things just never quite measure up. People never quite do what you believe they should do, or they never really reach their potential, or you don't reach your imagined potential. It's as if everything and everyone falls short. Sometimes a little bit, sometimes a lot. And it's this sensation inside of you that just always feels a little disappointment, a little let down, as if, well, if this had just changed, or if I'd only tried a little harder, or if he'd only done this, then it would be great, or I would have what I want, or I would feel fulfilled, right? That is the heart of perfectionism, and it's much more common than you might think. There is misinformation in cultural norms that say that people that are perfectionists, they are the ones that are out there working hard, the type A personality, always going, achieving, but that is not even remotely true. Perfectionism can be a problem for a lot of people, and it can be subtle, or it can be overt like that. People who actually say, I'm going for perfection, I'm going to work hard until I get it absolutely right. Or it can be a hidden problem. So take a few moments after you finish watching this video. Close your eyes and take those nice deep breaths, 3 deep breaths, and settle into your being and just ask yourself, am I often disappointed? Even just a little bit. Do people often disappoint me? Even just a little bit. Do my experiences tend to fall short? Am I often disappointed by the outcome of my efforts, of my experiences, my interactions, my relationships? And if you find that this is, again, even at a low level, if you find that that is true for you more often than not, it's not black or white, you're not always disappointed, but often, or say the majority, over 50% of the time, then perfectionism is something that is running in the background of your life. It has deep ties to control, but ultimately you need to go inside and reimagine what safety and security mean to you, beloved. Bring your child forward into what it is for the adult self to feel safe and secure. Oftentimes these are issues that just never get addressed, particularly if you've had larger issues to work on, childhood traumas. Oftentimes perfectionism is something that isn't really paid attention to very much, and yet, because of that perpetual disappointment, things falling short, it can leave you in a state of depression. It can leave you in that state of feeling flat. Or, and this is the most crippling aspect of perfectionism, why bother? If it's not going to turn out the way I believe it should turn out, if I'm going to be disappointed again, why bother? Perfectionism can be an insidious energy that can rob you of happiness, fulfillment, well-being, and most importantly, fulfilling your own dreams, your own heart's desires. If you go back and you find that perfectionism is indeed a part of your daily living, when you meditate, when you do your writing, write to that little girl that began this energy, that called forth this energy of perfectionism. Spend time with that child, that whatever age it happened. What does she or he need? What are they asking you for? You can't just take away perfectionism and not give them something else. Help them to grow into your adult understanding of safety and security. Take the time to do this, beloved. I promise you, you will be so grateful that you did. You always have to put in the effort to do the inner work. Talking about it is okay, identifying it is great, but at some point you must make certain efforts, take certain actions to go inside and shift yourself at whatever age it was that it began. And know that I'm with you. We will sit together to meditate, to breathe, to help your child, yourself, come into wholeness. I love you, each and every one of you. Be kind to yourself. And let me support you. Namaste. Hi, it's Danielle, creator and founder of Beloved Publications, your home of Mother Mary's teachings as they're channeled through me. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, please subscribe to our channel and leave a comment. I would love to hear from you. If you're interested in more of Mother's teachings, please visit our website, www.belovedpublications.com. And there you'll find lots of great ways of connecting with Mother. And if you want to join our community, you get an awesome free mini course on preparing for and connecting with your spirit guides. You will love it. So I hope to see you there soon. Thanks so much.